first names. Ryan Taylor. So I looked at text and image relationship. You can see we have the same sequence of panels. Kaitlin, did you get 9 times there? Take a look at the sequence of panels. How does it read? Are the images connected? Is the narrative clear? If it's not, the words should help a little bit. They may be fuzzy to see, but Billy Batson is learning about vampires so that he can effectively rid them from the city. But the images don't really convey that. What about this sequence of panels? Are they clear? Are they connected? They seem a little more connected. They're in the same space anyways. When we add the words, we learn that the pavement is actually quicksand. And Blue Beetle is rescuing these people from the ground beneath them. That's sinking. So, in this first sequence of panels, we have a panel type that we call verbally dominant, which would indicate that the text is most important. And then in this other sequence of panels, we have a panel type that we call verbally assertive. Now, what these panels have in common is that the text is most vital for understanding the narrative. But what these panels have in difference is that in the verbally dominant panel type, images are almost unconnected. The words are keeping the story together. And with verbally assertive, you can see in the images that they're in the same space though, but still the words are most vital. And this suggests that there's a narrative structure at play, like Cohn had mentioned before. So in this sequence, is this clear? It should be to some extent. You can see the Quinjet's crashing, and Scarlet Witch and Vision are tackling that. But with the addition of words, we see that Vision is actually shifting his weight, causing the Quinjet to crash so they're not destroyed by the tornado. Now in this sequence, is it clear? Hopefully it's fairly clear because the words that I'll throw up here don't add much. Just some noise effect and Sinestro dialogue about how he hates Hal. And in this first sequence of panels, we have what we call a visually assertive panel type. And in the second sequence, we call visually dominant. Now like before, with these, what they have in common is that the image is most important. And what they have in different in that with a visually assertive panel, the words are keeping a cohesive story, along with the images, even though the image is most important. But with the visually dominant, image is key, keeps the narrative, while the words are more like flavoring. How about this sequence? Hopefully it is crystal clear, because there are no words to add. This panel we call visually autonomous, meaning that the image in the panel is just an image. There was no words and there never will be. Now, this one's a little hard to see, but what happens when you need both text and image? I know it's tough to see, but there's a door where the yellow dialogues come from. It's Deadpool. He's talking to Bullseye, he's dressed as Hawkeye. And he's asking, are you out there? And Bullseye replies, no. And then he says, you should disarm yourself. Bullseye replies, okay, I will. And you can see he still has the arrow. So in this sequence, we need both text and image to understand the narrative. So we call this co-streaming. Okay, so we have all the panel types here, ranging from verbally autonomous, which would be a panel that is just words, which we don't see much anymore, but they did exist, all the way to visually autonomous, which is a panel that has just images inside of it. So, has the balance between text and image changed over the last 8 years? And if so, are there other changes that are causing this narrative change happening within the panel? So we looked at other factors too. So when there are multiple interactive entities within a panel, we refer to these panel types as macros. And when there is a single entity within a panel, we refer to these as monos. And in the case of less than one entity, we call them micros. And when there is no active entity, it's usually landscape, buildings, earth from a distance. Those are called amorphic panels. So in a previous study done by Dr. Cohn, he had found that American comics, indie and mainstream comics, tend to favor macro panels, meaning their framing is capturing multiple entities at once. When in Japanese manga, there seems to be a preference for monos, single entities, typically within panels. Now, in regards to Japanese manga, I may touch on it once more, but my study was about American superheroes. But keep this in mind as we continue before. Okay, so last type of change before we get to the good stuff. So, in this panel, you can see that we have one character becoming another, so character change. In this last sequence, we have what is a spatial change. So in this last sequence, you can see that this is very similar to McLeod's panel transition, but it's a little different than I'm going to explain. So in this last sequence, we can see Green Lantern is outside the building, and then he enters the building. So we have a spatial change. But we also can see that there's an additional entity, another character. So we also have a partial character change occurring in this last panel. So it's not exclusive. You can have both of these changes co-occurring. Finally, we have what is a time change. It's a little hard to see, but it's Punisher, and he's throwing a grenade. So we can see that time has progressed from one panel to the next. And the books that I coded were the exact same as Kate. We did the same books, we coded them together, and we did quite a bit of them. Okay, so what did we find? In regards to verbally dominant panels, which again are panels that they need text. They're dependent on text because the images are almost unconnected. We found that they're decreasing over the last 8 years. Now, in regard to verbally assertive panels, which again are panels that are sharing the same space as the images, but the text is still very vital, they are also slightly decreasing. Quite interesting. It's saying that we're using panels that require words to deliver meaning less. So what about the visual panels? In regards to visually assertive, they haven't seemed to change. They seem interchangeable. We'll use them, we won't use them, we might use them a little more again. But in regards to visually dominant panels, we can see that they're increasing. And these two almost seem to have an inverse relationship. That when an artist decides to use a panel that's visually dominant, he maybe is subbing out a visually assertive panel that he may have used. Now, in regards to visually autonomous, we found that they skyrocket. That panels with just images, not even onomatopoeia, because in a visually autonomous panel, there wouldn't even be a word like boom. There's just an image. They increase massively over time. So what does this mean? Well, we're using more images. And more fluently. We're conveying narrative very clearly without using as much words. So an old comic may have read like a book that had pictures, but a modern day comic is a visual story that has words. So, in case you don't like the panel types that I just talked about, we also coded the number of words per panel, which again, for 6,000 panels, is excruciating. But what we found is that the number of words also decreases. So it's not just the trade-off of image and text, it's that the average number of words per panel has actually decreased over time, which is quite interesting. Okay, so the other changes, macros and monos. Again, a macro is multiple entities depicted within a panel, and a mono is one entity depicted in a panel. And if you remember manga, Japanese manga prefers to use monos, which is interesting because cognitively it's a little tougher to process a single character in a panel because you have to keep track of who's in the same room, who's talking to who. But in regards to macros, we found that they're decreasing. In regards to monos, they're increasing, which is pretty cool. It's starting to look a little bit like manga, but nowhere near the same. And in regards to the character spatial change, with characters, they didn't, they're changing slightly. So again, when you're using more monos, you're seeing that character change is occurring more often, because when you have a macro, you have all the characters in the same panel, so character change is occurring less frequently. Now, in regards to spatial changes, it's interesting. We can see that characters are staying in the same place longer. So in the old, Captain Marvel comic, for example, he would jump across buildings or be in space and move around, and the text would tell you how he got there and why he got there. Very text dependent. But now we're using more images to convey narrative. We're keeping characters in the same space longer so that you can keep track of what's going on, because if they jump around, it'd be a little tough to follow. And time changes also decrease slightly, which again is more fluent when you're speaking with just images. It's the time change should be occurring at the same time. Okay, so what does this say overall? Well, we know we're using more images to convey narrative, which is fascinating, awesome. But we can say that with visual language that's taking place in comics, it's similar to spoken languages or sign languages, that if you read a comic from the 1950s and you pick up a comic today, maybe you're not very happy about it. And it would just be like if you go to talk to your grandfather and you start throwing slang, talking about hashtags and stuff, he's going to be quite upset. He's used to how he learned language, how he understood it. It's the same with visual language and how it's taking place in comics. That language changes, and the same can be said with visual language. So thanks for coming. I hope you all enjoyed yourselves.